Now in this video, we will discuss part 4 of the listening section, which is short talks. Now the short talks of the TOEIC listening section evaluates the test taker's ability to really understand quite brief monologues that are usually in a business setting or everyday situation. And these talks will usually include advertisements or different announcements or news reports or any other types of spoken communication that you might encounter in everyday life. Now let's start with an example short talk and jump right into it again. Here we go.
Welcome to the annual company meeting. This year, we have achieved significant growth in our international markets.
Question: what is the main topic of the talk? A,
new product launch,
B,
annual company meeting,
C,
employee training program,
D.
office relocation.
Now what is the main topic of the talk? What do you think? The correct answer is B, annual company meeting. This is because the speaker explicitly mentions this at the beginning. But what about the incorrect answers? The incorrect answer is A, a new product launch, is false because the new product launch was not mentioned. It wasn't part of any statement. C was incorrect, the employee training program, because it was not mentioned at all. Also D, office relocation, was not mentioned. So you can see that paying attention to the details of this conversation can lead you to the correct answer, the annual company meeting, which is B. Now the strategies for the short talks are to focus on the main ideas. By focusing on the main ideas, you identify the meeting, you identify the point or the reason or purpose for the talk, and you want to listen to key phrases. You want to pay attention to the remarks as well and understand those key phrases in these short talks and mentally jot down important parts and different important pieces to refer to during the questions. It may be really helpful to take notes if you are allowed to. In the past, the different revisions of the TOEIC test has allowed note-taking in some parts and sections. Okay, let's try it again.
Good morning, everyone. This is your captain speaking. We are currently cruising at an altitude of 35,000 feet and expect to arrive at our destination in approximately 2 hours. The weather en route is clear, and we anticipate a smooth flight. In a few moments, the flight attendants will be coming around with a light snack and beverages. If you need any assistance during the flight, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for flying with us, and we hope you have a pleasant journey.
Questions: who is most likely speaking? A,
A flight attendant,
B,
a pilot,
C.
a passenger,
How long until the flight arrives at the destination? A,
1 hour,
B,
2 hours,
C.
3 hours,
What will the flight attendants be offering shortly? A,
magazines,
B,
meals,
C.
snacks and beverages.
Now in this question, who is most likely speaking? Or how long until the flight arrives at the destination? Or what will the flight attendants be offering shortly? Now the answer for the short talk question, who is most likely speaking, number 1, is B, a pilot. This is because the speaker introduces himself as the captain, which is a term typically used for a pilot. The answer for the short talk, how long until the flight arrives at the destination, is also B. It's 2 hours. This is because the speaker mentions we expect to arrive at our destination in approximately 2 hours. Then the answer for question, what will the flight attendants be offering shortly, is C, snacks and beverages. This is because the speaker says the flight attendants will be coming around with a light snack and beverages. Okay, so let's break this down a bit more. So we first want to understand the short talk context. This short talk was an in-flight announcement and was made by a pilot, and the pilot was providing information about the flight status, also the expected arrival time, and the services offered during that flight was mentioned. Now the question analysis is where the question focuses on identifying the speaker, understanding the duration of the arrival, and recognizing what the flight attendants will be serving. Those 3 parts and those 3 questions here on the left-hand side. Now we want to analyze the answer in these short talk audio sessions. This example, the answers are directly based, as you can see on the left-hand side, on these specific details that were mentioned in the short talk. And in these short talks, it assesses your ability to both understand and recall this important information. And so using these questions can help you identify what it's about and to dive a bit more into the details to pick out the correct answer by eliminating the false ones. Now the short talks of this listening test can be challenging at times again, but with the right strategies and preparation you can do well. We want to make sure to understand the format again, to understand the structure and the types of questions. Typically in this part there will be 10 short talks. They could be announcements, they could be news reports, they could be advertisements, etc. The last example we used was an announcement from a pilot, and then you are presented with 3 questions about each talk. The questions will test your understanding of the main idea, the specific details in those talks, and you'd make inferences. You would gather information from those talks that you listen to. Now again, obviously we want to improve our listening skills, but listen to different English audio materials, and we talked about this like podcasts or different speeches especially. Also even announcements in everyday life. If you can encounter or be around English speaking announcements or broadcasts, that would be very similar to some of the short talks on this test, and you can understand and learn more about the styles and speeds of these announcements. We want to focus on main points again and specific details. This helps with your listening skills. Now we want to develop some note-taking skills as well. When we practice taking brief notes while listening to capture the key information such as names or dates or numbers or main points, that can help. And in this test, in the past, you've been able to take notes. So when you take notes, you want to focus on the main dates or the numbers or the names or the main points specifically. And you can just develop a shorthand note-taking strategy that works for you. You also want to summarize the talks and to retain that information of what is actually happening. Try both ways. Try it with note-taking and try it without and see which one works best for you. Because sometimes we're so focused on note-taking that we forget to listen more, and sometimes note-taking really works well for people if they can quickly just jot down some key ideas or main ideas and refer back to them. Again, you want to familiarize yourself with common topics. Public information or advertisements or announcements or news reports is usually the type of topics that are presented. And when you enhance your vocabulary that is related to these themes, you can better understand obviously the questions and know which answer is correct. Again, continue to practice with preparation materials, studying, reading about it, taking practice tests, etc. The predictive skills part of this as well is that you can quickly read questions and enhance your predictive skills, because then you can get an idea of what the information that will be presented to you will be about and what to listen for. So you can use the questions to predict what kind of information will be important in the talk. To me, that is super helpful because you're primed already to know what to look for. You also want to pay attention to signal words. Again, signal words are words or phrases that indicate important information. Look for words that have meaning, and a lot of meaning in the context. Also focus on the main ideas, specific details or locations and numbers and names or dates, because most likely there will be questions focused on that. You want to understand the main purpose of the talk, but also the specific details. Also, we want to use our time wisely. You can use the time between talks, the very short amount of time, to quickly review the next set of questions to help you and to prime you to know what to look for. And of course, you want to stay focused and avoid getting distraction. Each talk is really only played once. Again, practice. Practice analyzing questions. Be familiar with different types of questions and eliminate incorrect answers first. When you use the process of elimination and discard clearly incorrect answers, you're able to narrow down your choices, which can really help. Again, feedback is important. Testing yourself and then looking at the answer is important. That's feedback. Also, tracking progress. You want to review mistakes. When you practice, review your mistakes and understand why the correct answer was right and why the other options were wrong. And if possible, you can get feedback from other people. You can join a study group, things like that. Good. Now again, enhancing your overall English proficiency will really help. And you do this in everyday life, and find something that's interesting to you or of interest to you, like TV shows or different radio programs or different movies, so you can start to use it in everyday life and it becomes more natural to you and you're learning in the process. Also, participating in conversations. When you engage in conversations with native English speakers or even other fellow learners, You improve your ability to understand spoken English in different contexts, and that always contributes to your understanding as well. Now, as you can tell, this section of the TOEIC test will measure your ability to comprehend short and structured talks that you might encounter in everyday contexts. They are usually related to your professional life, things that you would encounter in everyday life as well. Alright, great job.